Okay, so a few months ago, this Epiphone Triumph came into the shop. I did some crack repairs to the top. It had a lot of loose binding. If you want to see that video on all the repairs I did, check that out. I'll put a link in the description. Maybe I'll even put a link right here or here, wherever it's going to show up. But the problem is, in time, these cracks have reopened. And probably because I didn't cleat them. This one here, it seemed to be holding well, but as time goes by, it opened up. There's this one, and then there's also this one. You can see they're both opened. So let me show you how we're going to fix those. Stick around. This is what I'm going to do. Not only am I going to glue these cracks back together, I'm going to put the cleats in them this time. I'm going to put one about here. I'm going to put another one about there. And that should hold this crack from opening up in the future. And I'm also going to put one on this crack. I think I'm only going to be able to get one there. But they got to be put on the underside of this top. And you may ask yourself, well, how are you going to do that? Here's how. I'm going to use one of these tuner clamps. It's a homemade deal, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so here's the trick. I got a very small gauge E string. I think it's an 8 gauge because I don't want to drill any holes in the top. You can always see that. It's always like a little patch. So, and I think this crack is opened enough that I can sneak this string through the crack. Yeah. So now, through this F-hole, I see the string. Now I've got the cleat, got a really small hole drilled in it. Make sure you put this on the right side. I'm going to go through the top so it comes out the bottom. Actually, now the other way. Go through the bottom so it comes out the top. So this now is going to get fed into the guitar and then sucked up against the top with my clamp. But I got to hold this in place right here. This is always tricky. Got to tie some sort of a knot in the end of this. Which is not easy to do with a guitar string. Okay, so that goes inside. Now it's touching on the underside of the top. You take this guy here. Don't do that. Let me just cut this string a little bit. Feed this through the tuner. Now I'm just doing a dry run just to show you how I'm going to do this. So now I'm going to tighten this up. Puts pressure on the underside of that cleat and helps hold this top. Does two things. Holds the cleat in place so the glue can dry, and it also evens up and aligns the crack so there's not a step there. Now I'm going to help it along with some clamps and things like that, but I'm going to use one here. I'm going to put another one, I'll be right next to it, right there. So let me get some glue on these cleats. Get some glue in the crack first. Glue in the cleats and glue them in place. Okay, so now I have two strings. one over here, and I already attached the cleat to the string, and I have the second one here that I'm holding this off of the hemostat. And originally I used fish glue in this crack, so I think I'm going to switch over to tight bond. I'm going to go ahead and flood this crack with some glue. I'm actually going to thin this down a little bit. Really try to get that glue down in the crack. I'm going to also help this along with a suction cup. Try to work that glue down into the crack. Just going to working around these guitar strings for right now. You can see that glue is getting in there. I can anyway. Just kind of wiggling it, getting the glue to go down inside that crack. Get it all the way to the end. I can see there's glue down in that crack, so this is going to be good. I'm going to do this one first. Just going to put some glue. Take this hemostat off that one. Just put it on that one for shits and giggles. Get some glue on the underside of this cleat. This drops into the hole. Okay, there's one. Okay, before I get too far, let me get some glue on here. I want to make sure this is in the right position. Yeah, so future me here. Looking at this now, I definitely should have started with that far cleat. Going with the front one caused the second cleat there to hang up. You don't see the look of dread on my face right now, but taking a look inside the guitar, you can see that cleat is stuck right on the top of the other one. And interestingly, you can see there's another cleat inside the guitar. So someone definitely tried to do a fix on this crack at one point. This is take two. That first one got messed up. So let's give that another try and redo everything. And now we'll start with the correct one. Let's go ahead and put the first cleat in. Put a little glue on it. Get that into position. Let's help it along a little bit. Okay, that's number one. Cleat number two. There's a string. Get this into position. Cleats are in there. Let's have a look inside and see how that looks. Okay, these two cleats are in place, Let's see, the seam is pretty even. I may put a little bit of pressure right here with a clamp. That'll help this even up here. Okay, that's perfect there. Okay, now I'm gonna leave it like that for a while. Let that set up good. I'm actually gonna do that one the same way. I won't bore you with that one. Although if it gets interesting, I'll clue you in. But if not, we'll take these clamps off and put one more over here, and I'll show you what that looks like. And that's what it looks like with the third one added. Just had to put a little bit of clamp right in the back here just to even up these seams. This all looks nice and even. So this one, yeah, nice and even right there. So let this all dry and let's hope it holds. All right, let's take these clamps off of here. Now the tricky part is getting these wires out. At this point, I'm left with the decision of just sort of living with it and making the best of it. So that's what I did. You know, it dawned on me as I'm editing this, I probably could have tied another string from the inside of the guitar and just pulled it out through the F-hole. Well, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this wire perfectly flush. I'm just going to give this a little bit of sanding lightly just to get rid of that just sharpness. Doesn't take too much. Okay, first I'm going to clean out the crack with naphtha. Make sure there's no residue within the crack at all. Just going to put some masking tape, leaving a very thin opening for the glue. Now taking a razor blade, just round it off these little sharp ends. And I'll put some Scotch tape on both sides. Just leaving a little gap in the middle, maybe a 1/4 inch or so. I can use to scrape right down the seam. Now because this is an archtop and there's some shape to this, some contour, you might end up, this part here sticks up, so the corner here kind of wants a ride on it. So I'm going to hold this at a pretty extreme angle. My goal here is to just scrape away the glue and get it flush with the surface of the finish. The razor blade just takes minute amounts off. So it's kind of easy to sneak up on it and get it just where you want it to be. So now the cracks are nice and smooth, but they don't look so pretty. So I'm going to take a little 1000 grit sandpaper, some water. It's going to do a little wet sanding. You can see it's just a little dull. So I'm going to come back with 2 polishing grits, a medium, and I'm going to finish it off with this fine. And if I need to take it to another level, I have some paste wax, but I'll try these 2 first. Okay, that's the medium, and that's pretty damn good because this old finish on here is not super shiny to begin with, so I'm going to call that done. You can still see it, but perfectly smooth. And now the cleats in there should prevent it from opening up again in the future. We do the same treatment over here, and then that's going to be that.